Uh, Obviously, Harrison Barnes has been talked about a ton, but
Yeah,
the Kings
you wrote an article on Forbes about this, about
yeah,
like the top guys in the TPE possible realm here. You threw out
right.
Harrison Barnes, Thad Young, um, Larry Nance Jr. is on that list as well. Do you have you've advocated, I think, for Barnes in the past. Do you think that's
Yeah.
the perfect guy?
I do think he's the perfect guy, but I don't think he's going to be available. So which is a major caveat, right? So from a fit perspective, like he is what you need. And I think if he's got a solid contract where you're not going to, like, PJ Tucker is a short-term fix, right? He's gone after the season, unless you want to re-sign 35-year-old PJ Tucker, which I don't know if that's what they're looking to do. That's a fix where, by post All-Star break, hey, Neesmith, he's not going to contribute this year. And Romeo Langford, he's going to be limited this year. So we need a short-term fix at the wing, and hopefully we can rely on Neesmith and Langford next year. So then you go after a guy like Tucker. Harrison Barnes is a guy who could honestly start against certain teams on this team, and he's under contract moving forward, and it's not a crazy contract. It's decreasing in value moving forward. The only problem is Monte McNair is not going to want to give him up if they keep winning, right? They're currently 12 and 13. They're 10th in the Western Conference. And the Kings are, I saw, I think it was, I don't know, it might have been a report from The Athletic, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that if the Kings continue winning and they stay toward a playing spot, not out of the realm of possibility that they're buyers at the deadline, right? So that could really go in any direction. It could, if say they lose 5-6 in a row here, then they could ideally become sellers. And the Celtics, I would think, have to really go hard at Harrison Barnes because I think he is the perfect candidate. But again, even if they do lose a couple games, are they willing to part with a guy who's been so central to their success right now? He pairs really nicely with De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton.
The Harrison Barnes thing is so infuriating because, like, look, the Kings, you're not going to win anything. Like, you're in 10th place. And this is I get frustrated because this is a year where if you want to tank and bottom out, this is the year to tank and bottom out. There are so many good guys that are going to be available in the lottery this year. You can name a whole bunch of them, and like everybody's top five is much different. And even after the five, there's a bunch of guys like 6 through 10 that could be really good impact players. Like, you don't have to get, Cade Cunningham or Evan Mobley or Jalen Suggs or Jonathan Kuminga, who played really well yesterday. I mean, there are so many guys that can have a significant impact on your team that are much better for your cap going forward, et cetera, et cetera. The Kings thing will continue to bother me, but they, look, I don't run the Kings, so it's not my thing. My question for you is, would you rather overpay to get Harry? Like, let's say, like, you have two deals on the table. One's for Thad Young or whatever your favorite, like, second prospect or second trade target is, and Harrison Barnes. And, the Kings like, yeah, we're willing to move Harrison Barnes, but you got to give us a little something extra. Would you be willing to go that extra mile to get Harrison Barnes versus Thad Young or Larry Nance, who I like quite a bit, or, other, ex-player here guy?
Yeah, I would. I would give up a young player and some draft capital for Harrison Barnes if that is an option. Again, who knows if that'll be an option, but I certainly would. Comes back to what we were saying earlier. You have two players playing at an all NBA level right now, right? You need to take advantage of that, and you can't just sit by and kind of I like the idea of giving up a young player and some draft capital for Barnes significantly more than going and getting, for example, two mid-level guys. Like, I just think that's far more appealing. And I think the market for some of the guys the Celtics should have had interest in has shrunk a little bit because of injuries. You have Aaron Gordon, who went down with a nasty ankle sprain. Yeah. He would have been another really nice target. Again, that's someone who you probably got to throw some significant draft capital and a young player at. So again, asking price there, very high. Larry Nance Jr., another name who the Cavs might not even be looking to part with because they have guys further up their trade totem pole that they need to get rid of before 28-year-old Larry Nance. But again, his market is kind of dwindled now because he just had surgery on his finger and he's out 6 weeks. So the market has shrunk a little bit. And I think Barnes has continued to be the ideal option. If the Kings are willing to listen, which still remains a very important and valid question, then I think the Celtics should be willing to part with a young guy and part with some draft capital because you have to take advantage of their current situation and make life easier for the way Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have played, which is incredible.